Geeta and Kiran are two friends and are also classmates. They are about to have an inter-school quiz competition a week from now. They both have secured spots as finalists and are preparing for the final round. The topic for their final quiz competition is Ancient Indian Science of Debate and Discourse. And today, they have a marathon doubt clearing session with their teacher. Geeta and Kiran are on their way to the teacher's house.
I am excited about the session today. So am I. I look forward to clearing my doubts.
Geeta and Kiran arrive at the teacher's house and their session begins.
Before we begin, let me tell you about the breakup of the session today. We shall cover and discuss the entire topic in 3 sessions. Session 1, which will happen now, will cover Introduction to the Types of Discourse, Key Elements of a Structured Argument, Training Module of Tarka Vidya. Session 2 will be in the afternoon at the library and cover the classification of Sambhāṣās. Session 3 will be in the study circle area of the school garden and will deal with the detailed insight to the different types of discourses. Let us start from the basics. Can one of you tell me, what do you mean by the types of discourse?
It refers to the different styles of discussion and debate.
Very good, Geeta. So teachers and thinkers have always thought of ways to distinguish logical reasoning from pseudo-reasoning. Do you know what pseudo-reasoning is?
Yes, it means unacceptable reasoning and is also referred to as hetva bhasa. Gradually, this understanding of the differences between correct debates and wrong arguments led to the development of a branch of study dealing with theories of reasoning and logic. It is called Hetu Vidya or Hetu Shastra.
Well done, both of you. Looks like you are prepared well.
We remember how you had told us in our first class that knowing and understanding the ethics and norms of conducting a healthy debate is important before one can start prepping for it. Also, that understanding the features of an unhealthy debate is equally important to have a better understanding of the significance of healthy debate.
Very well. Let's continue. We know that Tantra Yukti is the first ever compilation to systematize debates conducted in learned councils or parishads. What are the 4 key elements in the structure of an argument?
The 4 key elements in the structure of an argument are art of logical reasoning, Tarka Vidya, science of causes, Hetu Shastra, following the path of a well-disciplined method of inquiry, Anvikshiki, testing scriptural knowledge. The scholars belonging to various schools of philosophy were imparted training in Tarka Vidya.
And what is Tarka Vidya?
It is the art and skill of conducting impressive, successful debates and disputations known as Sambhāṣās or vāda vidhi in learned assemblies.
For a quick look at all the key elements involved in the training module of Tarka Vidya, I have made a PowerPoint slide. Let me show that to you. Methods of presenting arguments as per a logically structured format. Ways to stoutly defend one's thesis by means of genuine criteria of knowledge, pramana. To attack the opponent's thesis by means of indirect arguments, tarka. Estimating the strengths and weaknesses of arguments of either side. Establishing one's own points while setting aside those of the opponent. They were also trained for handling different types of challenges, such as how to vanquish a person of blazing fame, how to behave with a senior opponent, how to handle an aggressive and troublesome opponent, how to conduct oneself in prestigious parishads, to influence the flow of debate and to impress the judges and the onlookers, etc.
This slide is very helpful as a handy guide to the training module.
I'm glad you found it helpful. Let us take a break and meet again at the library across the street. We might find some good resources to read through on our topic.
After a productive session 1, Geeta and Kiran arrive at the library for the second session.
Which major texts enlist the various types of debates or sambhāṣā?
They are the Charaka Samhita and the Nyaya Sutras.
Correct, Kiran. Now, Geeta, can you tell me the classification of sambhāṣā according to the Charaka Samhita?
Sure, the Sambhāṣā is divided into two categories as per the Charaka Samhita, Sandhya Sambhāṣā and Vigrahya Sambhāṣā.
Can you differentiate between the two using examples?
Sandhya Sambhāṣā is a friendly discussion and is characterized by participants having scientific knowledge, power of argument and counter-argument, correct knowledge, not rejoicing defeat of opponents, answering questions with confidence, having a polite approach with the opponent. Sorry to interrupt here, but may I please have the permission to talk about the classification of debates as per the Akshapada's Nyaya Sutras after Kiran is done with her talk?
Geeta, you just demonstrated an example for Sandhya Sambhāṣā. You were polite in your approach to Kiran, your fellow participant or speaker. And to answer your question, sure, you may. Kiran, please continue.
Vigrahya Sambhāṣā hostile discussion is characterized by examination of the good and bad qualities of the opponent, based on which opponents are classified into superior, equal and inferior. Debates according to Akshapada's Nyaya Sutras can be of three types. An honest debate called vāda, where both proponent and opponent are seeking the truth. A tricky debate called Jalpa, where the goal is to win by fair means or foul. A destructive debate called vitaṇḍā, where the goal is to defeat or demolish the opponent no matter how.
Good discussion so far. One final break and then we shall cover our last session.
Teacher, Geeta and Kiran meet at the study circle area of the school garden and their last session begins.
Let us talk about each of the sambhāṣā type in details. Kiran, would you like to begin?
Sure, I will talk about Samvāda first.
Let me also show you a presentation that covers this topic. We can have a look as Kiran speaks along.
Samvād is a discussion for the sake of coming to an agreement. It is a dialogue that takes place between an ardent seeker of truth and an enlightened teacher. The bulk of the Upanishadic teachings have also come down to us in the form of Samvāda.
Geeta, can you give examples of Samvāda from our ancient Indian heritage?
Krishna Arjuna Samvāda and Shiva Parvati Samvād in the Puranas.
Excellent, Geeta. Samvāda gives importance to the relationship between a teacher and a learner and is characterized by the sincerity and eagerness of the learner, the humility in his or her approach, the absolute trust in the teacher. Kiran, can you elaborate on the vāda type of discussion? I shall play a presentation here as well on vāda.
Vāda is described as a debate between two people of equal standing to establish the truth to resolve a conflict. Consists of putting forward by two people of a conception and a counter-conception, in which there is supporting and condemning by means of proofs and reasonings. Out of the two, the proponent who puts forward arguments in support of his doctrine, vāda, is termed as vādin, while the opponent who refutes that theory through his counter-arguments is termed as prativādin. Vāda can happen only when the opponent is learned, wise, eloquent and patient, well versed in the art of persuasion, gifted with sweet speech, not wrathful or malicious. Vāda is called an honest debate, and both parties are expected to have mutual regard and respect for each other's learning and status. Participate with an open mind in order to explore various dimensions of the subject on hand. Examine the subject thoroughly by applying the accepted norms of logic and reasoning, Tarka. Support the reasoning with passages from texts of undisputed authority, Shabda Pramana.
Geeta, can you join in this talk and go through the concept and role of Madhyastha
At the commencement of the vāda, it is the madhyastha, judge or arbiter who lays down rules of the vāda, and the disputants are required to honor these norms and regulations. If both the vādin and prativādin belong to the Vedic tradition, they are not permitted to question the validity of the Vedas or the existence of the Supreme Being and the Atman.
Well done, both of you. Now let me conclude our discussion on vāda by talking about the result of vāda. A vāda proceeds until one accepts the other's arguments, and the winner is declared at the end by the consensus of the adjudicators.
A vāda can also be treated as concluded and one side declared as defeated when
a proponent misunderstands his own premises and their implications. The opponent cannot understand the proponent's argument. Either party is confused and becomes helpless.
either is guilty of faulty reasoning or pseudo-reasoning, hetva bhasa.
Not reply within a reasonable time. Now, moving on to the Jalpa type of discussion. Let me start here. Jalpa is described as that which is endowed with the set characteristics of vāda, and in which there is supporting and condemning by means of chala, casuistry or quibbling, jati, futile or irrelevant rejoinders provoking the opponent to lose focus,
and nigrasthana, clinchers.
Next, we will talk about chala, a device used to outwit the opponent.
Sir, may I please elaborate on chala?
Sure, Kiran, please go ahead.
Chala or quibbling is of three types. Vak chala, that is an attempt to misinterpret the meaning of an expression. Samanya chala, that refers to improperly generalizing the meaning of an argument. Upachara chala, which is conflation of an ordinary use of a word with its metaphorical use with a view to derange the argument.
Kiran, can you please brief us on the difference between jati and nigrasthana?
Jati, that is improper rejoinder, refers to falsifying the analogy given, sometimes to the extent of ridiculing it. Whereas nigrasthana variegatedly refers to as clinchers, censures, the defeat situation, etc. is the point at which Jalpa could be force closed.
Good work, Kiran. Now, Geeta, can you brief us on vitaṇḍā?
Vitaṇḍā is generally described as a destructive type of argument or squabbling that descends to the level of quarrel and trickery, and the debater who employs vitaṇḍā, known as a vaitāṇḍika, is basically a refuter. The major part of vitaṇḍā is spent in denying the opponent's views, in discrediting him or in quarreling. Thus, there is no place for either valid knowledge or truth in such a type of debate.
You are correct, Geeta. Now, I will share two more slides with you that explain the differences between certain types of discussions.
The first one is between Jalpa and vitaṇḍā.
The contending parties in Jalpa have a position of their own that they fight hard to defend.
In vitaṇḍā, the disputant has neither a position of his own nor is he trying to defend any specific thesis.
In Jalpa, the aim of the contenders is to make the rival accept their thesis by whatever means.
In vitaṇḍā, the focus is to prove that the opponent is not qualified to discuss and that there is no credibility for the opponent.
Jalpa employs trickery such as quibbling and illegitimate rejoinder, but it tries to argue for the success of its thesis by whatever means.
Vitaṇḍā also employs various tactics, but does not seriously attempt to put up any counter thesis.
Second is between vāda and Jalpa. Vāda is an honest debate aiming to ascertain what is true. Jalpa is an argument where there is no question of ascertaining the truth. In vāda, the thesis is established by pramanas and the antithesis is disproved by tarka or different set of pramanas. In Jalpa, the main function is negation. The pramanas do not have much use here. Jalpa, in general, could be the dialectical aid for vāda.
Jalpa tries to win the argument by resorting to quibbling such as chala, jati and nigrasthana.
It was a wonderful session discussing the types of discourses today, and appreciate your efforts, Geeta and Kiran, in studying these topics in details. I hope you both have got a better clarity now. I hope you realize we were in Samvad type of discussion throughout our talk. Please feel free to ask me or search for more info at www.dharmawiki.org and look for the types of discourses. It is very helpful. And yes, wish you all the best for your debate finals.
Thank you, sir. Very helpful session indeed. We will give our best. Thank you once again.
Also, make sure to check the social media platforms of dharmawiki.org to stay updated on ancient Indian wisdom.